In the big match today, we bring you the happiest footballer in Britain this weekend, and unquestionably the most exciting. The happiest is Dave Mackay, who helped Derby thrash his old club Spurs 5-0. And Dave is our studio guest today. We bring you and him highlights of that astonishing Derby victory. The most exciting player, of course, George Best. Just watch this clip from yesterday's match at Highbury.
Oh, magnificent shot by Best against the crossbar. What magnificent skills to produce a shot like that.
We also talked to George Best, but first let's start the action by going back to Highbury in the sunshine yesterday afternoon. Arsenal against Manchester United, a match with a tradition for producing excitement and goals, and this year is no exception. Arsenal, though, have not been too impressive at home this season, and their team now has no place in the defence for the experienced Terry Neal. And in goal, they have Malcolm Webster, a 19-year-old reserve in place of the injured Bob Wilson. Now he faces a Manchester United forward line that is beginning to sparkle again, and a defence that has been stiffened by the inclusion of Ian Ure, today facing his old Arsenal friends. They've attracted the biggest crowd of the day, more than 59,000, and the necks are craning as we look to the referee, Mr. Gow of Swansea, to start the match.
So Arsenal then defending the goal to our left. Red shirts with their white sleeves, the customary Arsenal colours. Manchester United today in dark blue with white shorts. And Radford offside. A man whose striking ability is well known, although he's only scored one goal this season, John Radford. Arsenal playing a 4-2-4 this afternoon, looking for goals, and there's of course Ian Ure. Robertson to McClintock, and now to Samuels. Armstrong making a dart, turning it inside to McClintock, playing at the back for Arsenal. Samuels again, a fairly leisurely pace so far. Story, and a corner given away by Fitzpatrick. McClintock going up into the Manchester United penalty area. Radford on the goal line. Armstrong with the corner, low one. And it's there! By Graham! 1 minute, 20 seconds gone. George Graham puts Arsenal ahead. That sneaky low little corner. McClintock dummying over it, and Manchester United in utter confusion. There he is, George Graham. He's now scored 6 goals in the last 6 matches. And United, who've been undefeated in the last 7 games since Ian Ure joined them, getting that early and very nasty shock. McClintock. Now it's Bobby Charlton to Aston. Kidd outside him, number 8 Kidd. Still Kidd. And Fitzpatrick right up there, number 2. But little George Armstrong, so dogged. What a very good start for Arsenal. Of course, Arsenal took 3 points out of 4 from Manchester United last season, a 3-0 win here and a goalless draw at Old Trafford. And here's Malcolm Webster. Still a little bit of confusion. This one running to Radford. And Stepney only just grabbing that one at the second go. What a bright start for Arsenal. Graham to Armstrong. And again, Radford going in there, trying to push his way past Dunn. And now Best, and really he's got to do something for Manchester United now. He scored 2 goals in each of the last 2 away games, Best, at Leeds and at Sheffield Wednesday on Wednesday. And Morgan trying to set Fitzpatrick away. I'm sure Malcolm Webster must have been very grateful to see that ball go in at the other end. Playing only his second league game for Arsenal, 19 years old, his mother down from Yorkshire here to watch him today. Best, oh, magnificent by Best. And some good solid covering too by the number 6, Peter Simpson. But that really was a touch of magic by Georgie Best, and no mistake about that. Peter Simpson. And United allowing Graham a little bit of space down there. You're beaten. Graham still going on. And finally Sadler. Doing some good work, Graham. Played for so long in midfield for Arsenal at the start of this season. Now playing much more as a front runner for them. Here's Sadler coming forward now for Manchester United to Aston. Kidd. Best with him. Still Kidd. This time Sadler trying a quick one too, but Arsenal watchful. Samuels to Graham. Samuels continuing his run. 2 against 2. It's a promising situation for Arsenal. But now the Blue are coming back. Robertson. Oh my goodness, if only Radford had connected with that one. A good, intelligent, low shot across the goal mouth by Robertson. And Radford not quite able to poke it home. Brian Kidd. Best. Taking it in for Aston, well covered by Rice. Good play by Rice. Really has had a good first 25 minutes or so for Arsenal. Francis Burns to Bobby Charlton. Looking to get it for a moment on that lethal left foot. And now Willie Morgan. Morgan with another chance. And having 2 chances there and not really making the most of either of them. Best. Still Best. Oh, magnificent shot by Best against the crossbar. What magnificent skills to produce a shot like that from a situation as close as that was. George Best at his brilliant best. Aston, and now caught for Arsenal. Rice in now for Samuels. Still Samuels, and he's got a bang on him. Oh, magnificent goal! John Samuels! His first goal of the season. There are children on the pitch chased by a policeman. John Samuels has put Arsenal 2 ahead, 27 minutes gone. That's it now, 2 up for Arsenal. What a shot by Samuels. If anything, Stepney just a little slow getting across his goal. And now there really is some work for Arsenal to do. Or rather for Manchester United to do. Morgan. Armstrong. Arsenal in full flight now. Radford going in. Well, Arsenal have been so hard up for goals all season. They were determined to give 4-2-4 a chance to try and score a few. They got 2 in 27 minutes. Caught, fouled by Kidd. And Don Howe in the shirt sleeves on the left must be very satisfied indeed with the progress that Arsenal have made so far. David Court. Bradford trying to flick it on there for Court, and Bobby Charlton right back. Now it's Robertson. Floating one back again. Graham going in. The flick on by Radford. Good play by Arsenal. John Fitzpatrick to Willie Morgan. Fitzpatrick gamely carrying on. The number of runs down the right that Fitzpatrick has made this afternoon with the ball never coming his way, which is good professionalism by this fella, to keep going even though the ball doesn't come your way. Oh, what a good throw there by Webster. Straight to the feet of Robertson. Armstrong darting down the right, but as a decoy. Now he'll get it from Samuels. Bobby Charlton. Best off in chase. Can he give Simpson the slip? A shot and a goal! A mistake by Webster. Goal by Best. A tragic error though by Malcolm Webster under his body. And it looks so often that you've got Manchester United on the ground. You look around and they're back at your throats again. Arsenal 2, Manchester United 1, right on half-time. What a tragedy, though, for young Malcolm Webster. And the whistle goes for half-time, with Manchester United then very much back in this game. Matt Busby going off, and of course he's been in the game long enough to know that there's still a long way to go. John Samuels, what a magnificent goal he got for Arsenal, that second one, to put them 2-0 ahead. And George Best, the number 11 for United, who pulled that one back right on half-time. Still to come in the big match programme, highlights of Derby County against Spurs. The half-time score here at Highbury is Arsenal 2, Manchester United 1, and we shall be back in just a couple of minutes. So United kick off the second half, no doubt greatly encouraged by the stroke of good fortune that came their way just before half-time, which brought the score back to them 2-1 to Arsenal. And now it's Samuels. Rice beating Aston. Radford into Robertson. Robertson on now for Graham to go for it. Muir. And now Court. Pat Rice. McClintock. And Bobby Charlton to put it back to Alex Stepney. Bobby Charlton playing well back. And with 2-1 down, I would have thought they could use his firepower a little further forward. Here's Fitzpatrick. Morgan. Good close control by Morgan. But taking on eventually just a little too much, and now Samuels for Arsenal. But Morgan prepared to come back and fight for it again. Samuels to Robertson. Graham. And Dunn prepared to let that one go over for a goal kick to Manchester United. Robertson may have thought that Dunn just got a touch to it to make it a corner, but Mr. Gow said no. Sadler, but straight to Samuels. Running into trouble, and now it's Burns for United. To Kidd. Best streaking off again. Morgan looking for it on the right, and Ure not looking. And the ball going straight to an Arsenal player. Now it's Samuels, but this time Ure cutting it out, but then losing it to Graham. Armstrong. Fitzpatrick doing his best to cover. Still Armstrong. Graham. Still going on Graham. And Stepney needing to spread himself to save that one. Brilliant work by George Graham. Best. Too high for Morgan. So now it's David Court, number 5. Ure. In fairness, it must be said that Ure has not had a particularly happy return to the ground where he had 6 quite good years here with Arsenal. And Webster, body behind it. United's ball. Bobby Charlton to Tony Dunn, and now Best. United's ball again. Oh, beautiful play here by Sadler. Good positioning. Aston now to Willie Morgan. Just across the goal there. Again, one of those balls that slide past the far post, needing just a touch, which neither Sadler nor Kidd could quite apply from this man, Willie Morgan. But that really was a moment of high danger again for Arsenal. And I'm sure Malcolm Webster is relieved that it's nothing more serious than a goal kick. Dunn straight to Court. Court then to Armstrong. Morgan, good determined piece of play by him. 2 Arsenal players were pulling his shirt, and now Best with McClintock covering him again. And McClintock, in fact, was tripped by Best. But it must have been an accidental one. Best with the throw. Kidd. And Best beating that tackle by Story. Aiming to float it towards Aston. Morgan right up there as well. Samuels away. Graham. And Samuels without quite the speed for it. And Stepney only just saving that from being a corner. Brian Kidd. Fooling Robertson. And again. To Bobby Charlton. Fitzpatrick down the right. This one is aimed towards him. And he kept it well. Found Best. Still Best. Onto that left foot. Oh, good save! Good save by Webster. And marvellous control and a shot again by George Best. Very nearly got in by the near post. So Arsenal keep this 2-1 lead with just over 10 minutes to go. And Arsenal, in fact, have only had one victory in the league at home this season. That was against Nottingham Forest. Aston. Kidd looking for it and getting it. Morgan wanting it on the right. Best in the middle again. McClintock shadowing him. Now Best! Best! It's there by Sadler! Sadler putting it home. Made for him unmistakably by Best. So it's 2-2, 11 minutes to go. For once he slipped McClintock, and that was that. And the referee, in fact it's Tony Dunn wanting a little bit of attention for that injury of a few minutes ago. And Wilf McGuinness in that trainer's bench now, giving a bit of attention to Brian Kidd, and a few orders as well, I've no doubt. Bob Wilson there in the tunnel. No doubt he would like to, there's his injured arm, no doubt he would like to be out in the fray as well. So Arsenal then kick off, pull back from 2-0 to 2-2. And now McClintock. And with Bob Wilson, there's the new Bob Wilson, the family man. But still, I've no doubt that in these last 10 minutes he'd love more than anything else to be a footballer out in this tremendous match that we've got here today. What a climax we must promise now. 2-2. Now 9 minutes to go. Caught. McClintock. And you're away. Back by Robertson. Just over. Story to Armstrong. Armstrong going on. And again Stepney reaching beautifully. He's missed absolutely nothing in the air, Alex Stepney. Now McClintock. Once more for Stepney. And again he's there. Fouled by Graham as he went for it. Now about a minute and a half plus injury time is left. You're to Morgan. Now Simpson. Armstrong. Bobby Charlton. Taking the ball away very expertly indeed from Simpson. Morgan. And a throw to Manchester United off Armstrong. Willie Morgan. Nobody much making a move to give him much of an alternative. Nobody to pass to, but the free kick given to Manchester United. Ure is coming right up into the penalty area for this one too. chased by Radford. Best to Morgan. And a corner. Something like 15 seconds of normal time plus injury time left. A corner to Manchester United. And one that's going to come out of the sun for the goalkeeper, Malcolm Webster. With his cap on, organising that defence. Kidd. Hammering one in. And Armstrong pumping it away to safety. But back it'll come again now. Burns to Kidd. Best. Beating Armstrong. And Manchester United's throw. Charlton. And now it's Simpson. To Court. Charlton tackling back. Still Court. Graham. And the whistle gone for the end of the game. And George Best, number 11, having made that equaliser in the second half for Manchester United. Graham and Samuels having put Arsenal ahead 2-0. Best and Sadler scoring the goals for Manchester United. So the final score at Highbury is Arsenal 2, Manchester United 2.
So Arsenal, naturally, a little disappointed at dropping a point. And I think probably rightly so, because in the first half, I thought, at any rate, they played as well as I'd seen them play all season. Jimmy Hill, would you agree with that?
I would agree with it. I thought one of the reasons was John Radford, who was more lively, doing more running off the ball. Lots of the things I think that Bertie Mees wanted from him. He looked as if he was really determined to get the ball and create trouble for Manchester United's defence, probably because he was playing against Ian Ewer and wanted to give him a rough time.
Well, indeed, certainly Arsenal caught Manchester United cold right at the start with that goal from a corner, didn't they?
Yes, of course, this helped them very much to play with such spirit. It's a lovely thing on a day when you score as early as this. And it was a well-conceived goal. It looked a little messy and as if Manchester United were caught napping, but there was a sort of double dummy. As this ball comes over, you can see two players, McClintock and Radford, going over the top of the ball, jumping over it and catching them out completely and leaving George Graham to slot the ball home between the goalkeeper and the fullback. Incidentally, his 7th goal, which puts him on top of the First Division goal scorers. Arsenal fans will be pleased to learn.
Indeed, and Arsenal fans, I've no doubt, and Arsenal management particularly pleased to see John Samuels bang that goal in after 27 minutes for the second one, because they've wanted John to score these sort of goals for so long, because he really does have a shot on him, doesn't he?
He has a terrific shot, and it is a mystery that he doesn't score more goals. I think it is that this kind of goal you score once a season. I think perhaps it's the longest shot that we've seen score on the... and if you don't get it, there's a beautiful shot there of those two jumping for the ball, showing how the grace of jumping and timing. And it was just a simple looking build-up, nothing very much, over here on the right, slipped into Samuels, and he picks the ball up there, pushes it forward, doesn't know quite what to do, and then suddenly he makes up his mind. Now, I think the goalkeeper is slightly unsighted here, and I know there was a deflection, which you'll see in a moment. There it is, there's Francis Burns, and you can see that the goalkeeper really, until that point, couldn't see the ball. And when he could see it, there's Stepney now beginning to move to his right, but it's too late, and it goes in the corner. Proving again, I think what people always don't notice up in the stand, that often goalkeepers don't see a ball when it's hit. I think the week we had that camera behind the Chelsea goal, they were able to appreciate the difference between a goalkeeper getting a clean sight of a shot and one where it's hidden by another player.
And Arsenal, I thought, were playing so well then that you could be excused for thinking that United were flawed, down and out.
Yes, indeed. I really thought that Arsenal were home and dry, but I was worried that, to an extent, a young goalkeeper, a very promising young goalkeeper, but there's always a little worry when this kind of thing's happen. And of course, so it's not their normal defence. Bob McNabb's not there, Terry Neal was left out. So it was rather a different Arsenal defence than the one which has stood them in such good stead in the past. But this was a really lovely goal. It was a beautiful through ball by Bobby Charlton. And if George Best had whacked it in with a fierce shot, nobody would have complained. Here is Bobby now. He hesitates for a moment. Is that the right moment to hit it? No, it isn't. Then he sees George Best running off the ball, and look at the accuracy of that through ball. Right in his stride. Beautifully done. There's Simpson after it, and there's the half-hit shot. Bobble, bobble, under the goalkeeper's right shoulder and into the back of the net. And that's the moment when young Malcolm Webster must have felt as if he wanted the ground to swallow him up.
But in the second half, I very much got the impression that United were getting to grips with it. They're always coming forward against this Arsenal defence that had Frank McClintock in the back four. Now, did you like this?
No, I don't think Frank is as useful there as he is in the middle of the field. I prefer someone who is more of a defensive player. And I think
Terry Neal, for example.
Terry Neal was left out. I mean, there perhaps may have been reasons for it, but I don't think their defence is as strong as it was yesterday, as it has been in the past.
And you always got the feeling, with Best occasionally producing these moments of magic, that there was a chance for United.
Well, you really wonder how anybody can be certain that they can hold Best. As long as the game is still going and Best is standing there on the field, there is a chance of Manchester United scoring. You can never feel safe against them. There's a good ball through from Brian Kidd. Now watch the way here he beats Frank McClintock. He's beaten him as he collects the ball and then moves to his left, and there is David Sadler coming up and stealing the goal from him. George was rather annoyed about that afterwards. He felt that he'd made it for himself, but of course they don't really worry when it goes in the back of the net. But a wonderful piece of opportunism.
And really unstoppable skills, because McClintock himself said afterwards that he knew exactly what Best was going to do and he could do nothing about it. In fact, we can look again at that goal, as you know, Jimmy, with our camera this time behind the goal at Highbury.
Well, it really was a remarkable piece of skill without any doubt. Just a simple build-up. Brian Kidd slots it along the floor rather gently to him. Now watch the way he collects and beats his man in one move. And there it is, open goal. And David Sadler gobbled it up and says, thanks very much, George.
So in the end, were you perhaps a little disappointed with Arsenal yourself?
I think they had a good game yesterday, considering the team they had on the field. Apart from Malcolm Webster, when you bring another goalkeeper into a side who's been used to a goalkeeper for so long, it takes a while for them all to get confidence in each other and to get used to the method that they play. And I think this will give Arsenal a tricky time over the few weeks ahead. And I would still rather see Terry Neal back alongside Simpson, because you don't want to make too many changes when you are forced to make one.
But looking back at United again, Jim, it's incredible how often they do make these fight-backs, isn't it, from what seem to be impossible positions.
Yes, they do. This is because they have a player like George Best. They can play badly. And as I've said before, when he's on the field, you can never rest. He can turn a game at any point. And as a matter of fact, I found another reason yesterday at the end of the game as to why Manchester United were doing so well in the second half of matches. And I talked to George Best and asked him about it.
Well, everything seems to be happening in the second half these days. The way we've been playing, we were losing 2-0 at Leeds. We fought back. Well, we did the same today against Sunderland. I think it's fitness. We've really trained hard this year.
Do you think Wolf McGuinness has made a difference to the team?
Well, Wolf's young, enthusiastic, and he trains with us. He really makes sure we're there. He's behind us all the time, shouting and screaming. So you feel as if you've got to do it for him.
Yeah. I'm interested in the change in your method, which I thought I detected today, that you tend to be playing the ball about more and perhaps saving your energy for an odd burst or two rather than dribbling almost all the time. Is that right?
I think it's because I'm playing centre forward at the moment. I'm playing up in the centre forward most of the game. I start off in the wing, but I usually move inside. So I think if you get it on the wing, you've got time to get hold of it and control it. But up forward, there's always someone up behind you all the time. You've got to play it quicker, I think.
Have you learned anything about football this year under Wolf McGuinness?
I've learned how to train harder. So,
anything else?
Not really. We've tightened up defensively, which has helped a hell of a lot. And up front, it takes a lot of weight off your shoulder. You feel a lot more confident.
What will you predict for the new United for the future?
Well, I think we win something this year. I wouldn't like to say what, but I think we win something again this year.
Just one final question, George. The first goal, your goal, against a young goalkeeper, do you think he should have saved that?
I think it was a lot of bad luck because he had to dive away from the flight of the ball, so he couldn't really get his body behind it. He was a bit unlucky. I thought he had it at first.
What do you think about him apart from that?
I thought he played very well, apart from that.
Well, there you are, a kind word from George Best to young Malcolm Webster. I'm sure that'll make him feel much better. But it was a new super fit George Best under Wolf McGuinness's training schedules, and I still think that Wolf McGuinness has made an impression on George Best's play which might make him an even better player in the future. Although he uses all his brilliant skill, the skill with which he was born, a natural player if ever there was one. Just look at the number of feints that we see here. 1, 2, and then again, another dummy over the top of the ball and another one. 6 feints in the space of seconds before he lays the ball off. So that skill is there, and it's always going to be there, but how do you harness that to a team? And this is Wilf McGuinness's problem. Once again, the natural skill. Look at that lovely little touch over the top of the head and the control as he runs through, but he just doesn't make it that time because Simpson stops him. The most amazing moment in yesterday's game, I think, was when he made this shot. In no space at all, players all round him, he lashed the ball against the bar. And that was perhaps the longest applause I've known on a ground for a visiting player. A really superb moment. But he has learned, I think, to lay the ball off more and to save his energy. As he says, it's because he's playing at centre forward rather than on the wing, and there are more players round him with whom he can pass. And I think it's very important for his future development, if he is going to be what he could be, the greatest player of all time, that he continues. Here you see him just flicking a ball right across the field, beautiful pass. If he continues to do that kind of thing in football, become a great passer of the ball in the Johnny Haynes mode, as well as one who has good dribbling skill. There's a simple ball that he laid off, racing it, and now an unselfish run down the wing, but he gets the ball back into passing skills that I'm sure Best can learn and use to become a better player. Once more we see a little move on the left wing, picking it up there, lazy little run, beautiful control of the ball, another little feint, a pass, and then a run off into space, showing that he can link with other players too. And there's that cross which brings about a shuffle from which they needed to score. Finally, we get the last of George Best. There's a beautiful control by Fitzpatrick. Best in this position, and he brings Malcolm Webster to the floor, making a save from the finest player in Great Britain.
The incomparable Georgie Best. Now, because we've got 2 such fine matches for you on the big match today, and still to come, remember, Derby County against the Spurs and a chance to meet Dave Mackay as well, there's time for only one of your letters this week. We promise to make just a little bit more time for them next week. Well, we've seen Georgie Best. In fact, the letter concerns a goal by another of the world's great players, Pele. The letter comes from Adam and Jonathan Bennett of Finchley. They saw a goal by Pele in our Saturday programme On the Ball a couple of Saturdays ago. They'd like to see it again. This time we'll let you enjoy the Brazilian commentary that goes with it. Pele, remember, will be wearing the number 10 shirt, and just look at the incredible dummy that he sells the whole Venezuelan defence in this World Cup qualifying game.
Para mim não vai mudar nada. Depois daqui a 5 minutos, quando o Cosi entrar, ele vai explicar aos senhores a modificação. Pelé com o Tostão, boa manobra. Atenção, atenção, 2, atenção, atenção, ainda Pelé, atenção, atenção. Grande! Golaço! Golaço de Pelé para o Brasil!
Quite out of this world, wasn't it? And considering that Brazil are through to the Mexico finals next summer, obviously Pele is going to be a threat to the whole world once more. Now we come to our second match on the big match today, that incredible game up there at Baseball Ground yesterday, Derby County against Spurs. A chance for Dave Mackay to play against his old colleagues from Tottenham. Spurs are in the slightly darker shirts, Derby County that is in the white. The pictures come from ATV and the commentator is Keith Macklin.
And a quick chance for a break for Spurs now, with Jimmy Greaves out there on the left, Gilzine going outside him, Pearce going up the middle, Greaves holding the ball, Gilzine, Phil Beale, Morgan, and just past the post. John O'Hare. England sticking closer than a brother to O'Hare. Greaves. Carlin. McFarland. Webster. That one's for Durban. Durban's got his fellow number 4, Alan Murray, with him. Oh, chance for Durban. He's there! Alan Durban scored. A mistake by the Spurs defence, and Alan Durban made no mistake from that. McFarland, Mullery, finding Greaves out on the left, being pursued by Ron Webster. Webster gets it away from Mackay. Webster following up. Only O'Hare in the Spurs half at the moment. Derby will have to come up fast. That one meant for O'Hare, but Brett gets it away for a throw-in. McGovern for O'Hare, and Hector going through very fast. Kevin Hector in the penalty area. It could be number 2. It's a goal. Yes, it must be over the line. Undoubtedly over the line. Beyond any shadow of doubt, Kevin Hector makes it number 2. Durban to O'Hare for Hector again. And Hector just couldn't control that one. He was moving very fast. The ball hits the referee there. Gilzine putting it back for Pratt. Mullery inside him. Phil Beale. The cross now for Gilzine. Mullery. Greaves. Oh, good work by Greaves, and what a great save by Green. That was the sort of shot that makes Jimmy Greaves the Football League's leading scorer, but a wonderful save from Green. And now it's Derby, a counterpunch. Alan Durban to Hinton. Hector and O'Hare both in the middle. Hector going in and headed away for a corner by Collins. Might have saved number 3. Crowd boiling with excitement now. As Hinton goes across to take this corner. Derby County leading 2-0, and good football from both sides now. Here's the in-swinger by Hinton. Coming in, up goes Hector. It's there, number 3. Carlin, it's Carlin the scorer, Willie Carlin. A glorious goal by Willie Carlin, just flew off his head. And Derby County are almost incredibly 3 goals in the lead.
Now into the second half.
Alan Mullery to Jimmy Greaves. Again Roy McFarlane, strong in defence. Alan Durban. Roy McFarlane is there, Willie Carlin. This is Carlin. Behind him is Durban. There's Durban. Oh, nice piece of play through the legs. O'Hare, it's a goal, a magnificent goal by O'Hare, what an absolute beauty. Alan Mullery comes away with the ball. To Greaves. McGovern's there. Webster to Carlin. To McGovern. Webster. McFarlane. Carlin. Almost cockily getting it to Webster. To Carlin. And they're all up there. Carlin over-elaborating a bit there. McFarlane gets up to Robson. Hector's there. Back to Webster. O'Hare. O'Hare's still there. Oh, and he cannoned off a defender. For a throw-in, O'Hare almost made it 5. Webster. They're all up there. Here's another chance. McGovern went in for the 5th there, but couldn't quite get the touch. And once again, Derby opening up this Spurs defence. McGovern getting up. Hinton. McGovern to O'Hare. Hinton and Durban's on the left. O'Hare. Hector coming up quickly. A good one. Number 5, Durban. Durban makes it 5. Kevin Hector the centre, and Alan Durban makes it number 5, and it was all so easy. Durban was standing there, he picked his spot, and poor hapless Jennings.
And a record crowd of 41,000 there to see it. Well, that scoreline spelled out humiliation for Spurs. It also spelled out another great day in the wonderful career of Dave Mackay. Here is Dave, and with him, Jimmy Hill.
Well, Dave, you've been responsible for one of the most remarkable stories in the history of football, breaking your leg twice around the age of 30, coming back, being let go by Tottenham to Derby County, and then within 2 seasons, first of all winning the second division with them, and then going on to be top of the first division. Tell us about what it felt like during that game yesterday.
Well, all last week there was tremendous publicity and everything, you know, and I've always been looking forward to this game really, but yesterday I expected a hard game from Tottenham, but our lads played absolutely magnificent, and we finished out very easy winners. In fact, I felt slightly embarrassed by the finish.
Was it a game that just went in the last few minutes, or were you always on top of them?
No, I think Les Green had a save from Jimmy Greaves when we were 2 goals up, and after that save I knew that we were going to win, and from then on there was no danger.
That was a remarkable save.
It was a
held
fantastic save, it really was.
Because last week Bill Nichols was saying all Greaves' chances are falling to his right foot.
Yeah.
Well, he couldn't have complained how he hit that one.
Jimmy was moaning for 5 minutes after it, saying how did he save that, even hold it. You know, he was really upset about not scoring a goal there. And I would have been as well if I could have hit a shot like that.
What about the Derby side? Are they a good side?
Well, they're a tremendous side this season. I knew we'd do quite well. I thought probably about halfway up. You know, it's the first season. They've got a lot of young players and inexperienced players, but they've played absolutely magnificent.
There were times yesterday when you were rolling the ball round.
They were playing
rather
the ball.
Like the old Spurs.
Honestly, they've never played like this since I went there. I think they just done this for me. They really rolled this ball about,
Just
pushed it about as we did in our heyday.
Like the Spurs side, the great Spurs side,
Like
you
the
felt
Spurs
like
side,
that as a member of Derby with this kind of play yesterday.
Absolutely, you know, we're keeping possession and also making very quick breaks and moves and creating chances from this sort of thing. Yeah. It wasn't just a case of square passing back and forth. The passing was absolutely brilliant.
They nearly get it back, and this shows how the point you're making, that they do begin to build up a chance from this. With
this was it. Everybody's moving. If you watch Derby players, everybody's moving and everybody's grafting. It's exceptional. They've done exceptionally well yesterday.
Well, Dave, I know you've had a lot to do with Derby's success, because I know that you're a man who can make people play on the field as well as playing yourself, which is a very valuable asset. But what else is there about this club that's different?
Well, I think a successful club, they're more or less all the same. You've got to have a happy team and a team who is working for each other. We're working very hard at Derby. We're a very happy team and a very successful team. I think all successful teams must be happy with each other.
How do you make a team happy? I mean, why is it that some are happy?
Well, it's a blend amongst the lads, actually. You know, you get 1 or 2 moaners in the team who upset 1 or 2 others, and they won't work for they 2, and they won't work. You know, it's a vicious circle, really, once you've got them in your team. So it's up to the manager, really, to get a nice blend, actually. And it's very hard for 11 individuals to mix together and be happy for a season while you're seeing everybody every day.
You said that Jimmy Greaves was moaning after missing that goal.
Well,
were
I
the
think he
Spurs
was
an unhappy
upset.
team? Were the Spurs an unhappy team, generally?
Well, they were an unhappy team by the end of the game because they had so much to moan about. There was 1 or 2 who were having a bad time, and everybody was moaning about everybody else. They were an unhappy team yesterday. I'm not saying they're an unhappy team, but they were on yesterday's performance.
5 goals in 1 match is really remarkable these days, let alone for you to captain the side to do it against Spurs. But let's have a look at the John O'Hare's goal, which I think was a really first-class, beautifully conceived goal, and one that would grace any team in any country. Here's the build-up.
Yeah, the boys they're playing this ball about, they're stroking a ball. This is as we did in 1961-62 when we were supposed to have a super side. They're playing the ball with plenty of confidence, stroking it about. They seem to have plenty of room. Willie Carlin.
Full of cheek, this little chap, isn't he?
Alan through the legs. Takes on Alan Muller through the legs. Takes his time. It's a wonderful check.
That ball's
Lovely
rolled
pace
back
ball,
beautifully.
yeah. John O'Hare.
And what a shot.
Beautiful shot with a slight deflection off Peter Collins' hand, I think.
Yeah, you can see that. Funnily enough, it was almost an identical angle to the Arsenal goal that we've seen by John Samuels.
It was just a slight deflection. Actually, I think it would have went in anyway.
Yeah.
There was so much pace on it, and it was going in the right direction anyway. So
On a day like that, the ball daren't not go in.
everything was going right, and everything was going in.
What about the Spurs' defence in that position? Did you feel that the marking was loose?
Well,
or
the
that could
marking
have
was
been prevented?
becoming loose near the end of the game, actually. I think they had lost a bit heart by then.
Yeah.
And as it so happens, when you're up 5 goals or when you're up 4 goals, everything seems to go right. We seem to have 14 players, they seem to have 10. This is the way football is. When you're on top of the world and everything's going right for you, everything just happens. You get all the breaks. If you have a shot, it goes in the back of the net.
Well, this particular, the last goal that you got, I think left 2 of your players alone, 2 of Derby's players alone in the 6-yard box.
Yes, I think this was very bad actually. We got 4 players up and actually they had only 3 back at that particular time. Kevin Hector catches it just before it runs out.
That's a
Looked as though it was
cross.
over. He done remarkably well getting it over.
And there you
Cyril
can
Noel
see.
goes up, just misses, and Alan Durbin. So we've got 2 of the Spurs players actually between the posts and only 1 defender.
And only Cyril Noel was there.
Which
and
is
none of
very
the centre
bad
half.
marking actually. But we did break from the centre of the pitch, and as you can see, there's Alan Mullally just getting back there. There's players who are just getting back actually.
Yeah. While you're here, the $60,000 question: are Derby going to keep it up?
Well, I hope so. They've played exceptionally well this season, and we are where we should be at the present moment. I didn't expect to be as high up actually. I don't think anybody did, and I think yesterday the first time that any manager has said that we were really looked a good side was Bill Nicholson.
Well, I think that all viewers and certainly all people who saw that game will agree what a fantastic side they are. David, whether the others keep it up or not, I'm sure you will.
Yes.
And thank you for coming into the big match.
I hope the others keep it up.
Dave Mackay, George Best and Pele. That's quite a threesome for us to have had on the big match programme today. We hope very much that you've had a bit of fun with us in the last hour, and above all, of course, that you'll join us for the big match at the new time, remember, at 3:15 next Sunday. I promise, as I said earlier in the programme, that we'll give a little bit more time to your letters, which, of course, we're always very, very happy indeed to get. As always, we leave you with a bit of action on the big match, this time that wonderful goal scored by John Samuels against Manchester United at Highbury yesterday.
Aston, and now caught for Arsenal. Rice in now for Samuels. Still Samuels, and he's got a bang on him! Oh, magnificent goal! John Samuels!